a dragon.
Citizens of a nearby town find an orphan boy named Pete living in the woods, and before long this town gets introduced to Pete's best friend, a dragon named Elliot.
The good.
My favorite part about this movie is Elliot. For one, the special effects that bring him to life are pretty good, an element that was a bit questionable in the original film. This film effectively got across the cool things Elliot can do, and his fun, playful personality. You will walk out of this movie wanting your own Elliot. On a fairly consistent basis, this movie is pretty funny. On the one hand, you have some pretty normal hijinks going around, the kind you would expect, but there are a couple of moments in this movie where the comedy sticks out to me because it's absurdity, but the characters play it straight, which adds to the comedy really well for these particular moments.
The iffy.
Based on what I saw, I don't think I would recommend 3D for this film. There really wouldn't be much for you to see. The dragon in this movie is shown to be furry, and to be honest, a lot of features of Elliot kind of make him out to look like a dog. That's not the worst thing in the world for a movie, but it's a dragon. Give it scales. That's what it's supposed to have.
The bad.
There is a minimal amount of time in this movie dedicated to developing the characters we're spending time with. Because of this, we don't get characters with a lot of dimension to them. The characters are there only often enough to accomplish the role that they're given in the story. So in regards to emotional engagement with these characters and the struggles they're going through, the absolute minimum result of what they were required to accomplish by telling this story is all that is accomplished. And a consequence of that is that you see potential in this movie about what they could have done with some of these characters and situations, and you just see that potential ultimately go to waste. And it doesn't help that on top of that, this is a very predictable kid with a strange creature that is his best friend kind of movie. Have you seen E.T.? Have you seen the original Pete's Dragon? You're kind of going to get a vibe very quickly about how this movie is going to go. And when you combine basic characters and predictable situations, you end up with a movie that just feels like it's going through the motions.
The verdict?
Strictly speaking, this movie is not bad. It falls very much on the line of average, and the reason for that is because it sets out to accomplish the bare minimum of the stuff that it wants to convey by telling this story and the emotions it wants to get across. I would say go ahead and take kids to this movie because I think they will have a good time watching it. For seasoned moviegoers like me, it's just a story I've seen before, done much better than it was done in this movie. And familiar stories can be good if the characters and emotions are really, really engaging, but unfortunately that was not the case for this movie. This is Detective Steve, and in this case, the original film definitely wins.